हमें स्टार्ट किया
Good afternoon, everyone. Without wasting much of time, let us begin with the session. Before we start, I would like to introduce today's moderator for the session. Today we have with us Dr. Rupesh G. Sawant Desai, who is a distinguished academician and researcher in the field of commerce and management. Dr. Sawant Desai holds a PhD in commerce from Shivaji University and has a strong academic background including M.Com, MCM, MPM and LLB. His multidisciplinary qualification reflects his in-depth knowledge in areas such as management, finance, law and computer applications. He has made valuable contributions to research with numerous papers presented and published at state, national and international conferences. His area of interest includes corporate governance, banking, digital transformation, consumer behavior, sustainability and social issues. In addition, he has been actively involved in academic research projects and has contributed to various reputed journals reflecting his dedication to knowledge, creation and academic excellence. With his vast experience and expertise, we are confident that today's seminar will be highly informative, insightful and enriching for all of us. Let us welcome our moderator with warm round of applause. Our second moderator is Dr. Mangesh Sridhar Bhosle, a dedicated academician and researcher in the field of economics. Dr. Bhosle holds a PhD in business economics from University of Mumbai and has completed his MA in economics from Shivaji University. His strong academic foundation reflects his deep understanding of economic theory and its practical application. He is currently serving as assistant professor at Gopte Joglekar College Autonomous, Ratnagiri, and has also had important positions as in-charge principal and center head in his academic career. Bhosle has made valuable contributions to research with several papers presented and published at international, national and state level. He has also been actively involved in e-content development for the University of Mumbai, contributing to digital learning initiatives. With his rich teaching experience, research background and academic leadership, we are confident that today's session will be highly informative and enriching for all of us. Let us put your hands together for Dr. Bhosle. Now I request Dr. Sai sir to present flower to Dr. Rupesh Sawant. I request Chaitanya Gawas to present flower to Dr. Bhosle. Thank you, Sai sir and Chaitanya. So let us begin with our session 1.
Yeah, sure. Greeting everyone, I am Kush Gupta and I am honored to present my research paper on integration and its impact on corporate governance practices. As organizations today navigate growing expectations around sustainability and accountability, ESG has emerged a crucial driver of governance. And this presentation I will highlight its implications and key insights. Let's begin. Introduction. Corporate project management in organizations. Recently, companies are adopting ESG practices. ESG focuses on sustainability, social responsibility, and ethical decision-making. It shifts governance from shareholder focus to stakeholder focus. Research objectives. To examine the relationship between ESG integration and corporate governance. To review existing studies on ESG-driven governance practices. To analyze the governance outcomes of ESG adoption. To provide managerial and policy implications. Research methodology. This is research design, descriptive, and analytical study. Data type secondary data. Peer review journal 2014 to 2025. Report from OECD, UN, PRI, and World Economic Forum. Corporate sustainability reports. Method of analysis. Literature review. Quantitative content analysis, comparative analysis of ESG integration films. Impact of ESG on corporate governance. Board effectiveness, independent and diverse boards, better strategic decision making, transparency and disclosure, improve sustainability report, reduce information asymmetry. ESG and risk management. ESG helps firms identify economic and social risks, strengthens enterprise risk management framework, reduce earning, voluntary and reputational risk, enhances long-term firm value and sustainability. Stability. Conclusion. ESG integration significantly strengthens corporate governance practices. It improves transparency, accountability, and shareholder engagement. Companies adopting ESG trend to create long-term sustainable value. Strong regulations and standardized reporting framework are required effective ESG implementations. Thank you.
Hello. Your presentation is over. Okay, the topic was good. I just want to ask one question. Have you conducted any literature review? Hello? Am I audible? Or are you there? Okay.
Hello. Okay, so next presenter is Mr. Jayesh Naik. As many of the online participants have not joined, we are starting with the offline participants. Moderators, please note, this is serial number 8. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon. Myself, Jayesh Naik, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, and my today's presentation topic is Digital Transformation in Tax Administration, analyzing taxpayer behaviors towards e-filing system towards an integrated TAM and CPP framework. So this is the flow of my presentation. It will start with the introduction, research model, review, research gap, question and objectives, analysis and interpretation, discussion, theoretical and managerial implication, limitation and scope of the study. So as everyone knows that nowadays the rapid digitalization has transformed governing citizens, interacting especially with the tax administration. Adoption is driven not just by availability but by taxpayers' behaviors intention. Understanding users' behavior is critical for improving e-filing acceptation, and due to this, the gap exists between the system availability and actual usage. So prior study was focused largely on the technological factors which include the usefulness and ease of use, limited integration of behavioral perspectives in e-filing research, lack of holistic framework combining technology and human behavior. So there are total 8 constructs which were studied, right, from the perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness. These are the technological factors taken into consider the technology acceptance model. Attitude and subjective norms were considered from the theory of man behavior. Computer self-efficiency and perceived risk are the individual factors which were studied previously, but there were no review of literature were done. So that's why the major gap which I have taken for my today's presentation is the computer self-efficiency and the perceived risk. And the last is the behavioral intention and the taxpayer behavior. So altogether there are 7 independent variables. The one is the mediating variable and the one dependent variable which is the taxpayer's behavior. So this is the conceptual framework and the model. So you can see the left hand side all are independent. The middle one is the mediating variable and the last one is the dependent variable. So the major research gap which was found that existing studies predominantly emphasize the technical efficiency and adoption rates of e-filing system with insufficient attention to the underlying behavior driven by taxpayer reduction. Prior research largely applied time or step in isolation, thereby failing to capture a combined influence of technological perceptions and behavioral intentions on e-filing adoption. Key determinants such as computer cell efficiency, perceived risk remain unexplored despite their significant role in shaping the user acceptance. There is a clear necessity for the comprehensive time-tech integrated model to holistically explain taxpayer adoption and resistance behavior towards the e-filing system. So the major objective of my study is to investigate the key technological behavior and individual determinants influencing taxpayer intention to adopt e-filing system and to examine how such behavior intention translate into actual usage behavior within the integrated TPP and TAM network. So these are altogether 11 hypotheses which was drawn for the study. So the research methodology which were used is exploratory and quantitative research design, wherein the focus was basically the primary data. Structured questionnaires were used to collect the data using the 5-point Likert scale. The samples were used the convenience and total sample size was 312 responded. To analyze the data, the smart PLS were used considering the confirmatory factor analysis and structural equation model. Next. So the descriptive statistics, I have studied the respondents' age group, their gender, occupation and the income, taken into consider the larger group 25 years and below, which were considered to analyze the study. So the further analysis which were done about the factor loading, AB, composite reliability and the Cronbach class, so taken into consider all the data were fully satisfying the conditions. But if you take into consider some of the construct items were deleted because they were unable to fulfill the criteria. First thing, before I went to the CFP, there was the EFA was run, and prior to that, item to total correlation were taken into consider. The standard value was 0.3. That was the first thing to delete the item. Then I went to the EFA, and the same item was going for the cross loading. And the third thing, the factor load value was 0.6. So that's why these few items were deleted. And rest all items taken into consider their reliability as well as alpha, EV and CR value is above the standard what was determined. Then the discriminant validity was taken into consider to identify whether all these items are same or it is different, and the value, the relation which are highlighted in the board are favoring that there is no discriminant validity between the different constructs. Next, the HTMP also taken into consider to understand the discriminant validity, and the standard was 0.85 and the values are below the standard value. The VIF was taken into consideration to understand whether there is a multi-code linearity, and the standard value was 3.3, and after analyzing the data it comes below the 3.3. Okay, now the very important thing about the structural model assessment, where I have assume that certain hypotheses, and this hypothesis were proved with the alpha and beta and the p-value. All the p-values shows the significant effect with the 1% level of significance as well as the 5% level of significance. At the same time, it shows the positive significance relation between the dependent as well as the independent variable. This is the model. The model grid also shows the perfect model of the structural equation model, and the adjusted R square of behavior intention is 44% and the taxpayer behavior is 12.2%. The Q square predict also satisfactory, wherein the behavior intention is 27 and the taxpayer behavior is 6.7%, which is above the 0% level. The discussion and conclusion shows that all the independent variables have a significant positive result in the independent variable, as well as the behavior intention interaction has a significance and the positive interactions towards the taxpayer actual behavior. Among all these variables, the computer self-efficiency shows the strong impact, highlighting the importance of technological computers in digital tax services adoption. The result emphasizes that improving system usability, enhancing awareness, strengthening digital skill, and reduce perceived risk has significantly increased the adoption of e-filing services. The theoretical application, the study advanced existing literature by integrating TAM and TAP, offering a more comprehensive framework to explain technology adoption in e-filing system. It extends the applicability of technology extension theory to the domain of e-governance and digital taxation, enriching understanding of taxpayer behavior, identify computer self-efficiency as a critical determinant of behavior interaction, emphasizing the role of individual technological competence in adoption model, confirming the mediation role of behavior intention, reinforcing its significance as a key predictor of actual usage behavior in line with the behavioral theory. So the managerial implication of the study, the tax authorities should prioritize user-friendly and simplify e-filing platform by reducing procedural complexity and incorporating clear step-by-step guidance to improve the accessibility. Investment in training program, tutorial, help desk, and workshop is essential to enhance the taxpayer technology confidence, particularly among the first-time users and digitally less literature group. The limitation and the scope of future study vary. The extension is that I can use with the without model. My specific finding is the second last point, wherein the computer self-efficiency and the perceived risk are the two factors which were additionally taken into consideration for my research. The first 5 to 6 points are the technology acceptance model. Then I have taken the perceived usefulness and the perceived ease of use. And from theory, TPP theory, I have taken the attitude and the subjective norm. So my contribution for the study was these two major important elements which shows the positive impact towards the behavior intention. And among these, the computer self-efficiency having the strongest positive impacts towards the behavior intention.
Are you expert?
Yes, sir.
So, what is your experience?
My experience is good now.
Are you finding your freedom?
Yes, sir.
Yourself or any help?
No, I am filing on myself. There is some little. See what happens, sir. When I was filing the return first time letter, it was little bit confusion for me. So as a government and income tax department, some improvement they have to do whenever they are going for the first time. Because the moment I again and again file the returns, I understand where I have to go, what I have to do, and all those things. But first time what themselves are doing, that time for them it is little difficult to operate a particular system. So it has to be some technology savvy thing has to be.
What are the experiences of your respondents? A typical kind of
No, first thing what happens, sir, I need to literally explain that the question is regarding, first of all, few of them they were not knowing that 5-point Likert scale is what. So I have to ask them what is 5-point Likert scale, why the data is getting. Yeah.
I am asking regarding paying of the tax or filing the return. Themselves or with their company?
No, some of them they were filing by themselves, so they were like, okay, so they can identify my research questions with by themselves. But some of them they were taking the help of CAs or someone else to file the return.
Based on the percentage, how many of them are finding it themselves available? Technology is.
Actually, sir, that data means in general I can.
Was there any question regarding
No, that question was not there, sir.
You have taken 300 samples.
300. No, no, sir. Actually, I have taken 350, but there was some outliers. Yeah, that's why after.
Quite natural.
Yeah.
But what is the classification of this name? What categories of respondents you have taken considered? Is there any stratification? Are they falling in the different categories?
So based on the demographic, that was taken into consideration. This was first
At least
Yeah,
everything
yes.
have you used?
yeah. So based on this, I have taken into consideration. Subject and convenience.
So you use both printed question as well as browser function or something?
No, both I have used, sir. Because Google for whatever they randomly answer, and because of that outliers can be more.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge, for the presentation. Next, number 7, Ishita Sagar, online mode.
Application dictated. Now we are ready. Okay, now we get it. हेलो हाँ जी मैम आप आ रही जी मैम पीपीटी मैम आप ले करेंगे कैसे sir right coming college so it's not possible for me to share Sir, ma'am, I have now. Hello. Ma'am, I have to start now. It's my turn. Ma'am, give me 1 minute, okay? Only 1 minute. Okay. जी मैम एक मिनट मैं बस ना मैं उधर से स्टाफ रूम में थी आई एम गोइंग टू इन अनदर रूम जी मैम नाउ आई एम रेडी I'm trying. मुझे ऑप्शनल 1 मिनट में देख लेंगे हाँ जी गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीवन मैं सपना मैनेजर थर्ड कॉल and my topic and my question is initiative in India, impact and Next slide, please, ma'am. Financial inclusion refers to the process of ensuring that individuals and assess for assess. And it mainly means credit facilities, insurance products, and remittances services. Recognizing the importance of financial for economic development of India and the RBI introduced many initiatives this purpose. Objectives of my study is to study, understand the concept and significance of financial to major financial inclusion initiatives in India, evaluate and map these initiatives, identify the different challenges, and to suggest the recommendation. My research methodology is this: descriptive and analytical. So, financial inclusion initiatives mainly which are used by the government there, but this was launched in 2014 and this is one of the largest financial inclusion programs in the world. The initiative aims to provide universal banking access through zero balance bank. The scheme also provides RuPay credit card, accidental insurance overdraft facilities. The NFS transfer in this, the beneficiaries are given the direct so that there is transparency and efficient delivery of the government facilities. The next is Aadhaar scheme, that's APPL. It allows individuals to conduct banking transactions using biometric authentications. UPI, that's Unified Payment Interface. Real-time digital platform allows that between benefits using mobile applications. Next one is the banking correspondent model. This aims to extend financial services to remote area through authorized banks who provide banking service on behalf of banks. The next is analysis. The growth of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana accounts from 2014 to 2024 extended from 7.9 crore and the deposit from 6,400 crore rupees to 51 crore accounts and 2,10,000 crores in deposits in the form of deposit. There is UPI similarly from 2017 the transaction value increased from 0.92 to 130 plus and the transaction value in trillions increased from 1.1 to 200 plus. So in the financial initiatives, the main impacts are, it has increased the extension of banking access. Millions of individuals now have access to bank accounts and local financial services. Growth of digital payments. UPI mobile payment platforms has significantly increased the adoption of cashless transactions. Improved welfare distribution, direct benefit transfers have enhanced transparency and reduced leakages in welfare schemes. Economic government have included individuals to save money, surely assess credit and assist economic activities. Now what is it? Inclusion. Despite immediate certain challenges like dormant accounts, many banks some financial schemes remain inactive. And another reason is low financial limited awareness about financial products and digital payment affect the usage of these. Infrastructure limitation is another one. Cybersecurity will also keep in Europe. Now, recommendations to improve this financial inclusion. There is need to enhance the financial literacy program across rural and urban regions. Improve digital infrastructure and internet connectivity. Promote fintech innovation to expand access to financial services. Enhance cybersecurity frameworks for secure digital transactions and collaboration between government institutions and fintech companies. So, the inclusion plays a very important role, and India has made remarkable progress in expanding financial different initiatives like the Neogenite and right? But these successfully business of individuals into financial system of teams and but the requirement is digital infrastructure and corporate implementation. By addressing these challenges and leveraging technological advancements, India can further strengthen its financial inclusion ecosystem and promote sustainable economy. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. The topic of study is financial inclusion. Is it? Can you listen?
Hello, Sarita, can you hear us? Hello,
Hello.
can you hear us?
Hello, ma'am. Anji.
Madam, can I ask some questions to you?
Keep yourself.
Topic of your study is financial inclusion, is it?
Ji, sir.
Yes. So before you going further in your study, have you conducted any literature review? Though your study is subject theoretical, it's okay. But have you conducted any literature review?
Sir, your voice is not clear, sir.
I just want to ask you, have you conducted any literature review before you go further in this topic?
Ji, sir. Through the review, yes, sir.
Am I audible now? Okay, thank you, madam. We'll stop with this. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, Sarita, madam.
जी मैम आवाज कौन आ रही है आपकी मैम?
Thank you very much, madam, for your enriching presentation.
Are you able to join or I can leave? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
A very good afternoon, respected members of the jury, ladies and gentlemen, each one of you present here. Mangroves lie on the margins of our cities, our banks, and on the margins of our economic thought. Today, this afternoon, we would like to bring them on the center stage as we present our work titled Silent Sentinels, an assessment of mangroves as both mitigation and adaptation strategy in India. Next, please. So, mangroves occupy a very small proportion of the Indian geographical land. Just about 0.15% of our land is covered by mangroves. But if we try to calculate the amount of money that we have spent at the central level, state levels, UN-linked funds over the last 25 years, about 9,000 crores in total have been spent in an effort to conserve mangroves. So for many of us sitting here, it might look like ecological charity, an obligation that the economy has to face, a burden, because of such a small proportion of mangroves. The question that we are asking today is this money spent an expense or is it an investment that makes economic sense. Next, please. So if we look at the research that has been done on mangroves, the field of mangroves has been predominantly studied by geography and the sciences. Commerce is slowly taking a seat, but still the evidence is pretty fragmented. We are trying to understand their ecosystem value, how they help us in disaster losses, how they are helping us with carbon sinks, how they support our economy, but the studies are sparse, very few and fragmented, and we still do not have a whole case for the economic rationality of mangroves, which is why our objectives today are threefold. To attempt to monetize the undervalued ecosystem services of these mangroves, translate them into financial terms, to map out how mangroves help us to achieve SDGs incidentally, and to attempt to reframe mangroves as economic assets with a special focus on Goa. Next, please. So our methodology has been hybrid. We have used secondary data sources, published information, and case studies of mangrove conservation projects in India in order to understand how we go about with this. Next, please. Next, please. So in pursuit of the first objective, what we realized was that mangroves, although they have a very small proportion of the geographical land, the kind of economic benefit that they give us is disproportionate. These economic benefits are calculated two ways. One is the actual income that you can get from mangroves, like from fishing or honey or etc. But the much bigger value that we can see in the blue line over there is the savings that you get because mangroves protect us from impacts of storms. And if we look at the graph down, that is the rising storms that have been impacting our country just for the last 10 years. The cyclonic impacts, if we notice, are more in the eastern coast. But we in the western coast cannot sit back because for us, we are an infrastructure heavy coast with Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa. And if cyclones hit us, the impact would be that much more because we have much more assets that are vulnerable to these lands. Next, please. So this in pursuance of our second objective is how different type of mangroves have a cascading impact of helping us achieve SDG goals very efficiently. We have the deltaic mangroves which are located, for example, in West Bengal, the Sundarbans. They protect from storm surges and help us in achieving SDG goals like 13 and 11. When we have the arid mangroves that goes in Gujarat, they basically protect the coastal industrial production because all our infrastructure is over there waiting for nature's calamity to wipe it out in an instant. The island mangroves like in Andaman and Nicobar, these are mangroves which are rich in biodiversity, and by conserving that biodiversity, a lot of our SDG goals are also accomplished. Estuarine mangroves like those in Goa, for example, they are protecting not just our infrastructure but our entire tourism economy, which is dependent on those stretches of lands that the mangroves are conserving. Next, please. Finally, if we look at Goa specifically, let's just take a look at the amount of money that we have. We have about 45,000 to 60,000 crores as income from our tourism, port cargo and fisheries sectors, all of which are intricately tied to mangroves in one way or the other. So if we look at it, the amount of area that mangroves cover in Goa, which is almost negligible, those mangroves are protecting about 1,600 to 2,200 crores of economic investment. That is a huge amount of mangrove coastal protection by per square kilometer if we calculate. Next, please. So what lessons can Goa learn? From Maharashtra, which has a special mangrove conservation unit, we need to learn that our law enforcement requires more muscle. It should not be just rhetoric, it should be powers to act. Gujarat has a public-private partnership model which tells us that this is a fight that the government cannot fight alone and we need our industry to step forward. The Odisha's Mangrove Mitra program tells us that we need to engage our communities not by giving them emotional speeches but by making sure that they earn from mangroves because people protect what they earn from. And then we have Tamil Nadu, which first corrected the tidal flows before correcting the mangroves. So we didn't go to the superficial conservation, they went down, which reminds us that we too need to do it because Goa also suffers from that. Next, please. So the final implication that we would like to conclude with is, under the Smart City Panachi program, we have huge investments. About 130 31 crore per square kilometer is the infrastructural density that 8 kilometers of Panjshir is holding. And mangroves coincidentally are situated right there, protecting it from huge calamities that could occur. Next please. So in conclusion, what we would like to say is that mangroves are not just an ecological reality, but a very wise economic investment. And protecting mangroves is not charity, but it is a very wise economic decision that will give us much higher returns as compared to building something after losing what nature has given us. Thank you.
So, the topic is much related in today's context. I agree with this. The relevant topic is this. You belong to which faculty?
I'm a consultant. We have three authors, Dr. Sneha, and we are all three commerce faculty, and I think that is the core argument that commerce needs a seat at the table in this conversation. It should not be considered as an ecological issue because a lot of times the commerce perspective is distinct from this field.
Basically, I am from Maharashtra, from the coastal area of Maharashtra state. The same type of issue we people are finding nowadays in our coastal area. Because Maharashtra has a great coastline, 700 plus kilometers. I have special feelings for Goa. I used to come at least 4 to 5 times in a year on different occasions in Goa. And from last 15 years, I found there is a tremendous change. Many times I used to read the news really online and offline mode. Right? And I find that 2-3 days back also, I got one news and every news is saying that the nature in Goa is pretty. Mangroves are great. Okay. So, can you tell me what are the specific reasons behind decreasing ratio or percentage of mangroves?
What is happening is people
Are we people responsible?
normally people have a very short-term kind of perspective. They look at mangroves and they see land that could have been used for buildings and different type of things. So it's a senseless cutting down of mangroves because people think of mangroves as they're not producing any fruit. It's not used for agriculture. It's not used for building. It is just land that is marshy and muddy, and they think that it can be land that can be reclaimed. And also what happens is if you look at the pure income that you can generate, like from crabs or fishery or whatever from mangroves, it's very negligible. So for people, what we believe, actually why we fundamentally chose this topic is, people ultimately understand only the language of money. And for them, it doesn't make monetary sense on the surface level. But what they are not realizing is that by putting those mangroves at stake, what those mangroves are saving, that is something we cannot afford to lose. So when it is too late and when we have let go of these mangroves, because it's a very interesting finding that we read in terms of why we were doing this research, that there is a coincidence of cases where cyclones occur and cases where mangroves are there. And so nature kind of has a beautiful design that these mangroves are protecting us from the severity of the cyclones. In Goa, we have an idea and a mentality that we are going to be safe. We have a very inborn belief that nothing will happen to us. But unfortunately, this belief is slowly shaking. We have seen a cyclone some years back, and we are noticing climate change in our lands. It's no more a future problem. So what is happening is that the repercussions of those decisions are being felt by this generation. It's not about future generation anymore. We are feeling it ourselves. Of course the people are responsible because greed and selfishness ultimately is what drives even the stock market and what drives even these decisions.
Two questions. One is for you. What kind of role which you can play as hard and responsible citizen of state government?
As a teacher, we have a
And
huge.
nothing as an individual.
As an individual, I'm first and foremost a teacher, and I have a huge opportunity that I have students with me for about an hour every day, and most of them tomorrow will be future citizens, future leaders, and even in their home levels, And secondly, as a researcher, if we can publicize these findings at our level and make the public aware. Right now, even when it comes to research, they are having that donut kind of a model, where your research impact is not just measured with citations, but with whether you have published it on social media, newspapers, whether you have made the masses aware, those who need to know. So I think considering that aspect and bringing about our knowledge, because ultimately what we have is our knowledge, and that knowledge can be used, I think, at my level in two fundamental ways. One is with my students, one is as a private citizen through newspapers or social media. And of course, as teachers, we also sometimes get to be a part of the government discussions. Like Dr. Smita works closely with the government in many different ways. And so these faculty can definitely find a listening voice to some channels like that.
You have mentioned so well that industry can play
Yeah.
for performance of CSR activities. Are there any industries responsible doing this?
Currently, I'm not very sure how much they are doing already, but definitely there is a scope. We will find out about that, but there's definitely a scope to do a lot more, because this is not a glamorous area. Even under CSR, companies normally choose to do something very flashy, where it can be seen and felt. This becomes the groundwork, and also opening up what happens is people talk about mangroves in terms of superficially, not just like making it like going there one day doing something. But actually the groundwork needed, like we mentioned, that ideological model of management, where you have to first see that the water tides underneath, they are taken care of before you talk about the mangroves. So nobody is going to publicize that. The spotlight is not coming there. That work needs to be done. So we do have some big industries in Goa, and I think one aspect of that, their attention is also split into major, everybody has their own goals. But this also should, I think, get a little bit of motion.
Are you connected with this?
Not yet.
If you
But
connect with this, you can work
with huge,
on that.
yes. Thank you so much.
So if I may add a few things to what is a joint paper. One is with Mumbai and Mumbai and Goa face the same problem, and that is land sharks, real estate. So, like she said, it's very integrated. Why leave the land to the mangroves? It is better to reclaim it, and Goa being, all the situation. Money comes in sacks from Delhi and the NCR region. So that is the biggest threat to Goa. Second threat also for mangroves in Goa is, in case of mangroves, tourism is both. It's an income generating activity and it is also a political. So we have these safaris, mangrove safaris, so which could also be a threat. And pollution in water is also a big threat, because the tide needs to flow. The minute the water becomes stagnant, mangroves die. Next question is, what can we do as individuals? She mentioned that I do work with Jihar, and we have this ground child development plan. Villages are supposed to have mangrove communities. Those villages which are close to mangrove, which have mangrove in their vegetation, and that is where the role comes. So as we monitor the Gram Panchayat development plans, special attention needs to be paid to those villages which have mangroves, and get the VMCs activated, and VMCs plus mangrove communities can do the next step. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rajita and Dr.
Just one question.
Shreya.
Just one question. I'm taking one word from title of the conference. Is there a possibility to use AI in whatever conservation programs, whatever initiatives, government initiatives are going to take place in future? Can we take help of AI in this initiative? Is it possible, or in what way?
So in mangroves, what happens first and foremost is a multidisciplinary area. So you need, like forest people, they treat all mangroves the same. But ecological person will know the micro differences that they have. So AI can help in knowledge collaboration to share and to get all the insights that maybe one or two experts will not be able to. Secondly, AI can come up with a predictive model telling you that, say suppose if you have these mangroves, what is the best economic activity you can do with it? Like not all mangroves are fit for fisheries, not all mangroves can be used for tourism. So I as a government or I as an authority, how do I decide what is my best option to use these mangroves according to the species there, according to the coverage, quality of mangroves, the livelihoods for people around. So accordingly, the predictive modeling can be used with all the data that we get. And I also feel that AI can also be used to propagate this knowledge among the masses, because now we have something like Notebook LM, which can have very high quality podcasts in multiple languages. And I think ground level awareness in different places can be spread through those type of things. Definitely can be observed in many ways.
In future, we can think about such kind of
Yes. And
Thank you, Lecturer and Dr. Smita Janaswamy for such an enriching presentation. A different paper, but very enriching. Thank you. And next presenter is Mr. Darshan Rao.
My dear colleagues and my dear students, I am before you to present a research paper titled Determinants of Old Area Investment Intentions in India and Empirical Investigation Using Structural Equation Modeling. Myself Darshan Rao from Vidyadhari College of Commerce, Education, Computer and Management, and paper is co-authored along with Dr. Arvind Rai. Moving on to the next slide, with regard to the scope and background of the study. Gold ETF is considered to be a powerful investment instrument globally, offering retail and institutional investors exposure to gold without holding a physical gold. Over a period of time, there has been more increase in the investment in the gold ETF, and it is because of a lot of factors like cultural affinity, rising financial literacy, and digital platform penetration. Gold ETF asset under management in India has increased post-pandemic. Why this study has been conducted? This study has been conducted in order to know, because previously there was no literature available with regard to the investment in the gold ETF. And prior to this study, most of the study was qualitative, and more of the study was more basically on physical gold. We have considered 4 key constructs, that is inflation protection, market uncertainty, portfolio diversification, and price expectation. And for this purpose, we have selected samples as of 436 respondents. Significance of the study and research gap. The study is significant to 3 different stakeholders, that is for practitioners, for participants, for policymakers, and for academics. For practitioners, this study is significant as it will provide actionable insight for financial advisors and health managers for tailoring the gold ETF product according to the recommendation. For policymakers like SEBI and other regulators, it will help in investor education, developing investor education and market development initiatives. For academicians, it will provide an enhanced literature with regard to the study in gold ETF. Now, after going to the literature review, we have found out the research gap. Prior studies showed that the focus was more on physical gold, and there was less of study on gold ETF, and those factors that were studied, more of them studied in isolation. Now, the objectives and hypotheses, the single objective of the study is to examine the influence of inflation protection, market uncertainty, portfolio diversification, and price expectation on gold ETF investment intentions among investors in India. The different hypotheses here are: inflation protection positively influence gold ETF investment intentions, market uncertainty positively influence gold ETF investment intentions, portfolio diversification positively influence gold ETF investment intentions, and price expectation positively influence gold ETF investment intentions. We have adopted qualitative positivist research design. We have used purposive sampling techniques, where we have selected the respondents of age group of 18 years and above, having a prior knowledge of ETF investments. The data collected, the data was collected through social questionnaires, and the data was gathered with the help of Google Forms. We have used 5-point Likert scale covering 25 measurement items. Sample size which was selected was covered was 436 value sample, which is about the minimum standard of 250. Then we have used PLS and Smart PLS, having a bootstrapping of 5,000 sub-samples for hypothesis testing. Content validity was established through expert review, and a pilot study of 100 responses was confirmed reliability before full filter. With regard to the analysis and findings, you can see that all constructs show convert alpha above 0.85 and composite reliability of above 0.89, well above the recommended thresholds. Average variance expected for all 4 constructs exceed 0.63, confirming conversion validity as per formula method. All 24 outer loadings are exceeded 0.70, confirming indicator reliability. Discrete validity was confirmed using the formula method strategy. This is Smart PLS output diagram. Here you can see that R square value is 0.53, which means our 4 construct explain 53.6% of variance in gold ETF investment intention, which qualified as substantial. All 4 hypotheses are supported looking at the R coefficients. Market uncertainty is the strongest predictor with a beta value of 0.456 and P value of less than 0.001. This confirms that Indian investors use gold ETF as a safe haven during financial turbulence. Inflation protection follows with a beta of 0.368 and P value of less than 0.001, entirely consistent with the long-run inflation linked literature. Then portfolio diversification with a beta value of 0.095 and price expectation of beta value of 0.077 are statistically significant through with smaller effect sizes, suggesting these are the secondary motivators. We have also done necessary condition analysis, which confirm that market uncertainty carries a medium-large necessity effect, meaning a minimum level of perceived uncertainty is necessary preconditioning for forming gold ETF investment candidates. Discussion and theoretical contribution. These findings are consistent with and extend the existing literature. You can see here that as per the Bohr and Factor law, demonstrated gold safe haven role. Our result affirmed this in the Indian ETF context. That inflation argument is strongly supported, particularly relevant given India's persistent inflation concern. Theoretically, the study extends the application of the theory of planned behavior to gold ETF, integrates modern portfolio theory, and applies prospect theory to explain loss aversions driven safe haven preferences. Methodologically, the combined use of PLS SAM and SAE is conclusion itself, and SAE complements SAM by revealing necessary condition and not just positional SAM. Implication and conclusion. The practical implication, this manager can use this result in order to show that during the market crisis or market resilience and inflation, gold ETF can be a safe investment. For financial advisor, it can be used to communicate that investing in gold ETF will diversify the investment, the risk will be reduced, and it will be considered as a safe investment. For policymakers like SEBI and other regulators, it can be used for investor education or gold ETF as macro risk tool. Digital platform can be used in order to pass on the real-time information related to inflation and market volatility, so that more number of customers are attracted towards gold ETF. With regard to conclusion, all 4 hypotheses are supported, market uncertainty being the dominant factor, followed by inflation protection. The mission of the study is purpose sampling cross-sectional, then moderators like financial literacy. This can be used as further studies.
Topic is good. My first question is, what is the present state of condition so far as gold ETF investment is concerned? What is your opinion?
People nowadays are shifting towards gold ETF because nowadays there is a lot of uncertainty in market, and investing in the stocks, which is will be more risky. So people are moving towards more of investment in gold.
You have collected 436 samples. What are the different categories have you covered in that? Categories of investments. Will be developed.
Males,
Male, female, their occupation.
occupation, position, everything was covered.
Is there a specific classification that you kept in mind while collecting samples?
Normally, we have taken care that those people who are investing in more detail, they are considered.
But is that in particular categories? So, you have used PLSA, it's called series, is it? So, is there a special reason?
Yeah.
Why PLSA instead of series?
We have studied this because our study is more of exploratory, it's predictive in nature, and PLSN is best suitable for this. Secondly, your sample size is 436, covering 4 different constructs and 25 different measurement indicators, which will be best suitable for PLSN. Regarding the SAN scaling, it is more for confirmatory theory testing than
Was there any other possibility to use instead of, say, any other statistical methods, statistical initiatives? I will talk about that. One thing I found is that they included necessary condition analysis, NC. Why?
in order to know whether the conditions which are factor that has been used are necessary conditions for investing in the gold ETF. Now from the study, we can come to know that market uncertainty and inflation protection are the necessary conditions in order to a person or investor to invest in the gold ETF.
Last one, we use measurement purposes. Is there any possibility to go for stratified sampling in this instead of using measurement quota sampling or numbers? Any ideas? Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, Mr. Rajendra. Next is answer is online work. Let's read. Hello. Dr. Deepak, can you hear us?
Understand.
So basically the research papers from India and strategy and distribution. The significance of this strategy is financial markets in India and outside India.
So we thank all the paper presenters for wonderful papers, insightful papers, and well researched papers. We sincerely thank moderators who have come all the way from Maharashtra. And as a token of our appreciation, we would like to present a memento to both the moderators. First, I would like to present Dr. Rupesh Sawant Desai. I request Assistant Professor Chaitanya to present memento with a certificate to Dr. Thank you all. So we break now for the tea and then validation.
हाँ, ये बात है।